No one really knows where this recipe comes from exactly. It's a dish that has been cherished in Eastern Europe for centuries, with as many variations as there are families. Even in my family we have different versions. Here's mine. The recipe is in the description of this video as usual, if that is what you are after. But if you are after entertainment of the reality show, such as it is, well, let's proceed. Here's the list of the raw ingredients. 4 bell peppers. Any color you like this time. There is only one rule. Get the ones with 4 corners, not 3. Here's why. First, it is practical. 4-sided bell peppers stand alone in the pot or on the plate without needing support. And then there is an urban myth, perhaps, that they taste better. Whether that's true or not, I cannot judge, but 4-sided pepper can hold more stuffing and it stands on its own. That is a winner in my book. A whole lot of Roma tomatoes. About 2 dozen or so. I'll probably use 16. 1 chunky, good-sized yellow onion. Half a pound of ground beef, though I've got the whole pound here because I'll be doing more than these 4 bell peppers. 4 is what will fit comfortably in my pot in one go. Some rice. I'm using basmati, but it doesn't have to be. 1 cup, perhaps. Salt and pepper. Green onions. Parsley. And some dill for garnishing. Put on a tea kettle and boil some water. While that's going on, let's start making our stuffing. Peel the onion. For this size, I'll be using 3/4 of it. The remainder will go in the fridge, awaiting better times. From what I can gather, stuffed veg comes mainly from Turkey, or rather from Ottoman Empire. Like their pastry, come to think of it. They had, or perhaps still have, this thing called dolma, which means stuffed in Turkish. They stuff all sorts of veg, not just peppers, but it's where our stuffed peppers most likely get their roots. Now let's saute the onions and fry our ground beef in 2 different skillets. They'll be running at different temperatures. Onions on low to medium heat, while beef goes on a medium-high-ish. And prep to make our half-cooked basmati rice. I'll be steaming it this time instead of using a rice cooker. We don't want it fully cooked, or it will get too mushy once we stew it inside our stuffed peppers. For these 4, we will need 1 cup. Add the boiling water to the pot and put the strainer with the rice over it. Keep the water boiling and steaming underneath the rice at all times. Once the onions are golden and the beef is no longer pink, add the beef to the onions. Reduce the heat a little and mix things up. Add the spices and seasoning. Now I'll slightly saute my peas in a little Irish butter, and I do mean slightly. Chop up the little green onions. Once the peas are hot, add them to the mix. Don't forget to stir the rice about, else it will turn into a crust. When the rice is about 3/4 done, but not completely done, add it to the mix and reduce the temperature even further. We just want to keep things hot at this point so that the ingredients exchange flavors. Finally, add the green onions and transfer the stuffing from the skillet into a bowl. Wash and slice a bunch of Roma tomatoes. I'm using about 16 for my pot. In the heart of Eastern Europe, where the winters are long and stories are even longer, every family guards their secret recipe for the stuffed peppers like it's a crown jewels. Whether it's grandma's blend of herbs or uncle's special meat mix or that neighbor who swears by this or that dish, every bite tells a story of tradition and a dash of culinary rebellion. So here's our tomatoes. Put those in a large skillet and saute them to caramelize the sugars, shifting the flavor from tart to sweet or sweeter. Time to prepare our peppers. Wash them and carefully remove the tops. Try not to puncture them. To do that, I hold the knife by the blade so that the fingers act sort of like a stopper, like this. Once you've cut around the top, twist the lid and it will come off easily. Clean the insides. We want as much room as possible for the stuffing, and we do not want those seeds. And now stuff the bell peppers with the stuffing, leaving a little bit of room at the top. And don't forget about the tomatoes in the skillet, stir them around a bit. You should end up with a picture like this. 4 stuffed bell peppers neatly sitting in a pot, but not so tight that you have to force them in and out. You should be able to easily remove them with 2 spoons when they are done. If you force them tight, it will be difficult to pull them out once they are cooked. Next, we'll blend our sautéed Roma tomatoes in a blender. We want to keep all the water that came out of them. This will be our tomato broth of sorts, in which we will stew our bell peppers. I suppose you could get creative with this broth and add some other flavorful veg to enhance the flavor even further. Blend about a pint at a time and carefully pour the puree into the pot with the bell peppers. Try not to get any into them at this stage. Now that we have our puree in the pot neatly to the brim of the peppers, pour a little bit into each pepper. Set the timer for about half an hour and turn on the medium-low heat. Cover the pot. Except for the half-cooked rice, everything we have in the pot right now is edible as it is. So the principle is the same as with the borscht and the veg soup. Do not overcook the veg to get the maximum vitamins in the final dish. And that means do not bring it to the high boil. Check them often and make sure that they are boiling slow. They should resemble lava in Hawaii, with a slow bubbly sound. Regulate the heat as necessary and stew no more than half an hour. It took me about 20 minutes. Check on the rice and the firmness of the pepper. When the rice is done, the dish is ready to be served. If all worked out well, your peppers should be soft enough to be cut with a table cutlery, but firm enough so that they don't fall apart. Remove them with 2 spoons like this and enjoy the veg vitamin-infused dish. Now, speaking of veg, in fact, you can dish the meat and replace it with something else and have a purely vegetarian stuffed peppers. Yeah, a working man portion is 2 bell peppers. This is all for today. I'll see you later, probably. Bye for now.